Today, we're going to talk about gaslighting. It's a form of emotional abuse. So today we're going to be talking about the term gaslighting, what it means, where it comes from, why it's so dangerous, as well as some of the lookalikes that are not actually emotional abuse, but can seem very, very similar at first glance. This topic is very personal for me, and it hits very close to home because in my office, I see so many people who are afraid that they might be in an emotionally abusive relationship, and they don't necessarily trust themselves or their own judgment, and they don't know what to believe. So I spend a lot of time providing education about the difference between what's an emotionally abusive dynamic and what's a very normal, fixable communication pattern. I also want to remind you that YouTube is not a place where I can diagnose your specific dynamic. I can only give educational information. So if you think you're in an abusive relationship, it's really, really important to seek out a local professional. So I'm going to be starting off by telling you a story about Jack and Bella. And this story takes place in London in 1880. Patrick Hamilton wrote a play in 1938, which was made into several different movies. And this one here is starring Ingrid Bergman, and actually Angela Lansbury made her first debut in this film. Appreciation to movie clips for the clip that I'm showing. So like all good stories, it starts with a murder of a woman named Alice who was found dead in her apartment. And this was particularly famous case because Alice apparently had a bunch of jewels that were never found. So fast forward 10 years, then two newlyweds who are named Jack and Bella move into the same house that she was found murdered in the third floor. And so Bella was a little bit scared, understandably, but Jack really encouraged her to move into this house. So I'm about to show you a clip from the movie where Bella doesn't want to go out because she's scared and Jack's on his way. Let's take a listen.
You better go to your room.
What are you going to do?
I'm going out to work and forget all this.
No, please don't leave me here all by myself now. I get so frightened when I am here alone and you go out night after night.
Frightened? You never told me that before.
But I'm telling you now, I'm frightened of the house. I hear noises and footsteps.
I hear noises and footsteps, she says.
I imagine things that there are people over the house. I'm frightened of myself too. Gregory, please.
I'm frightened of myself too.
Please don't leave me. Stay with me. Please.
I hope to find you better in the morning.
Okay, so here we see the very beginning of Jack beginning to paint a picture of how he is trying to discredit Bella's reality by telling her that he hopes that she's better in the morning, implying that she's the one that's not okay and she has no reason to be afraid. Okay, so let me tell you what's going on. Spoiler alert. If you want to see this film, it's a mystery, and I'm going to tell you the ending because it's necessary for me to illustrate gaslighting. But if you want to see the movie, come back and watch this video later. Okay, so here's what's going on. So basically, dun dun dun, Jack was actually the one that murdered Alice all those years ago. Okay, it was a robbery went wrong, and what happened is that he ended up killing Alice but never finding the jewels. Fast forward, he gets married to Bella, they move into this house, and he's upstairs in the middle of the night, or then he keeps on saying he has places to go, and he leaves her alone and he locks her in her bedroom, and she hears the footsteps. Whose footsteps are they? They're his footsteps because he's upstairs looking for the jewelry that was Alice's. He needs to discredit her. And so he starts to build a case and try to make her feel like she's completely losing her mind and insane. So watch how he does.
If I could only get inside that brain of yours and understand what makes you do these crazy, twisted things.
Gregory, are you trying to tell me I'm insane?
That's what I'm trying not to tell myself.
But that's...
See how incredibly manipulative that is? You're saying it, not me. Right? It's mind games, really manipulative, sociopathic mind games that he's playing with her.
That's what you think, isn't it? That's what you've been hinting and suggesting for months now, ever since...
Since what?
The first day here when I found that letter.
What letter?
See, so now he knows that she's beginning to gather evidence against his case. So he has to up his ante.
The one I found among the music from that man called Bower. Sergius Bower, yes. I remember.
Yes, you're right. That's when it began.
Yes.
I can see you still, standing there and saying, look at this letter, and staring at nothing.
What?
You had nothing in
Staring at nothing. So first it was auditory hallucinations that he's implying, and now it's visual hallucinations. He's saying that she wasn't even holding a letter.
your hand.
What?
I was staggered. But I didn't know then how much reason I had to be.
I don't know. What reason?
I didn't know then about your mother.
What about my mother?
It began with her imagining things, that she heard noises, footsteps, voices. And then the voices began to speak to her. And in the end, she died in an asylum with no brain at all.
No, please. Oh, no.
Now perhaps you will understand a lot of things about yourself and me. Now perhaps you will understand why I cannot let you meet people.
Now you understand why I can't let you meet people. What is that? Put it in the comments if you know the answer. He's doing isolation. So the combination of making her feel like she's nuts, that she's hallucinating auditory, visual, and now he's isolating her so that she has nobody else to bounce her reality off of. Okay, so this is classic emotional abuse. When people hear the word emotional abuse, sometimes they think of things like saying something unkind. So this is really important to talk about because a lot of people are using the word, but they might be defining it differently. So this is the working definition that I'm using: subtly and intentionally. I want to really pause on the word intentionally because it's very different if somebody is premeditating how they are going to manipulate somebody versus what is much more common in healthy, everyday loving relationships where it's not premeditated, it's dismissive or defensive based on reacting to what somebody else is saying. Okay, so the difference between intentionality and reactivity. Reactivity is more like some of the other skills that I've talked about in some of my other videos in terms of criticizing somebody when you're really trying to get your needs met, or being defensive because you hate the fact that you hurt your partner's feelings. Okay, that's oftentimes why people are defensive. So the example that I love to share is my husband and I get into this dynamic sometimes where I'll say, oh, I see you didn't respond to the email we got from our accountant. And he'll say, I didn't see an email. Okay, so now that could feel to me like gaslighting because it's like, there was no email. What are you talking about? And I'll be like, yeah, I'm pretty sure you were CC'd on it. And he's like, no, I wasn't CC'd on it. And then what happens? We're both opening up our laptops to see who's right, who's wrong. And that's completely dysfunctional. It's not helpful at all, but it is not emotional abuse. Okay, so the difference between that kind of a dynamic is that both of us want to do right by the other person. We don't want to feel like we messed up. And so we get defensive of like, I'm innocent, I didn't do anything wrong. Okay. Whereas gaslighting is deliberately trying to make somebody think that they are insane instead of you reacting to something that they're saying where you feel like you need to prove your innocence. Okay, the good news is that the attack-defend communication pattern can be undone by noticing and learning John Gottman's antidotes to criticism and self-defense, which are taking accountability and using the gentle startup. So if you've ever felt this, you are definitely not alone. It's very common to be confused about what's going on. The good news is that you might be in a situation where you can learn some really solid communication skills and turn things around. Either case, thank you so much for visiting my channel, and I hope to see you in the next video.